One simple act of courage, a refusal to give up her seat on a bus, sparks a nationwide movement. Her bravery becomes a turning point in the fight for civil rights. In the segregated South of the 1950s, the simple act of reading a public bus was a daily reminder of systemic injustice for African Americans. In Montgomery, Alabama, the rules were brutally clear. Black passengers paid their fare at the front, then had to disembark and re-enter through the rear door. They were confined to the back rows, and if the white section filled up, they were required by law to surrender their seats to white passengers. It was a system designed for humiliation, a constant, grating friction against the human spirit. For years, this was the accepted, though deeply resented, reality. But on a chilly evening, December 1 Street, 1955, the accumulated weight of this injustice would meet its match in the quiet resolve of one woman. That woman was Rosa Parks, a 42-year-old seamstress and a committed activist with the local chapter of the NAACP. Her journey home that day would become a journey into the heart of American history. As the Cleveland Avenue bus made its stops, the seats in the white section quickly filled. A white man boarded, and finding no more available seat, he stood expectantly. The bus driver, James F. Blake, turned his gaze to the first row of the colored section. He looked at Rosa Parks and the 3 other black passengers seated beside her and uttered the command that was both routine and profoundly dehumanizing. "Y'all better make it light on yourselves and let me have those seats." 3 of the passengers complied, rising from their places in a familiar, reluctant surrender. But Rosa Parks did not move. She simply shifted to the window seat, a small, almost imperceptible gesture of defiance. Blake, angered by her noncompliance, pressed her again. "Are you going to stand up?" he demanded, in a voice that was calm but unwavering, a voice that carried the exhaustion of a lifetime of indignities. Rosa Parks gave her history-altering reply, "No more." When he threatened to have her arrested, she responded with quiet dignity, "You may do that." This single word, "no more," was not born of simple fatigue from a long day's work, as the popular myth often suggests. It was the culmination of a life dedicated to fighting for equality. Rosa Parks was a seasoned activist, deeply involved in the struggle for civil rights long before that fateful day. She had served as the secretary for the Montgomery NAACP, working alongside its president, A.D. Nixon, to document cases of racial violence and discrimination. She had attended workshops on civil disobedience at the Highlander Folk School in Tennessee, a training ground for activists. Her refusal was not a spontaneous outburst but a conscious, deliberate act of resistance. It was the moment where her personal resolve intersected with the collective yearning of our people for freedom and dignity. Her arrest, therefore, was not the beginning of her fight, but rather the public catalyst that would bring the private, simmering struggle of millions into the national spotlight. The injustice she faced on that bus was a stark, undeniable symbol of the larger disease of segregation that infected the nation. News of her arrest spread like wildfire through Montgomery's black community. A.D. Nixon, recognizing the significance of the moment and the impeccable character of Rosa Parks, saw an opportunity. He knew that her case could be the one to galvanize the community into sustained action. He called local black leaders, including a young, charismatic pastor known to the city, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That night, plans were set in motion for a one-day bus boycott to protest Parks' arrest and the degrading segregation laws. Flyers were printed and distributed, and the word was spread through churches and the community networks. The response was overwhelming. On Monday, December 5, the day of Rosa Parks' trial, the public buses of Montgomery rolled through the streets virtually empty of their black passengers. It was a stunning, silent, and powerful demonstration of unity and resolve. What was initially planned as a one-day protest transformed into something much greater. That evening, thousands gathered at the Holt Street Baptist Church, their voices rising in hymns and their spirits buoyed by a shared sense of purpose. They voted unanimously to continue the boycott until their demands for courteous treatment, first come, first served seating, and the hiring of black bus drivers were met. The Montgomery bus boycott had begun. For 381 grueling days, the African-American community of Montgomery walked. They walked miles to work, to school, to the store, in the rain, Andy under the hot Alabama sun. They organized intricate carpool systems, with black-owned taxi services offering rides for the price of a bus fare. This massive, coordinated effort, sustained by unwavering determination, crippled the city's transit system, which relied heavily on its black ridership. The boycott was a masterclass in nonviolent resistance, drawing national and international attention to the cause of civil rights. It tested the limits of the community, which faced harassment, threats, and violence from white supremacist groups. Homes were bombed, including those of Dr. King and D. Nixon, but their spirit did not break. Rosa Parks, who had lost her job and faced constant threats, became a quiet, powerful symbol of the movement's courage. Her act of defiance had given birth to a sustained campaign that demonstrated the economic and the moral power of a united community. The boycott was no more longer just about a sit on a bus. It was a full-scale assault on the foundations of segregation itself, challenging the legality and the morality of separate but equal. While the battle was being waged on the streets of Montgomery, it was also being fought in the courtrooms. A legal challenge bravery was filed in federal court on behalf of 4 black women who had also suffered discrimination on the city's buses. Rosa Parks' case was tied up in the state courts, but her symbolic leadership fueled the federal lawsuit. On June 5, 1956, a 3-judge panel of U.S. District Court ruled that bus segregation was unconstitutional, violating the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection under the law. The city and the state appealed, but on November 13, 1956, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the lower court's ruling. The fight was won. On December 20, 1956, the court's order was served, and the boycott officially ended. The next day, Rosa Parks, along with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the other leaders, boarded an integrated Montgomery bus. She took a seat right at the front, not as an act of defiance this time, but as a simple, profound assertion of her rights as an American citizen. Her bravery had not only sparked a movement but had also led to a landmark legal victory that dismantled a key pillar of Jim Crow segregation. The Montgomery bus boycott was a watershed moment, marking the emergence of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a national leader and demonstrating the incredible power of nonviolent mass protest. It became a blueprint for the mass struggles to come in the civil rights movement, from sit-ins at lunch counters to the marches for voting rights. Rosa Parks, often humbly referred to as the mother of the civil rights movement, continued her activism for the rest of her life, working with Congressman John Conyers in Detroit and remaining a powerful voice for justice and equality. Her legacy is a testament to the fact that one person's courage, rooted in conviction and a deep sense of justice, can indeed change the world. It was not just a refusal to stand up, but a profound stand for human dignity. Her bravery becomes a turning point in the fight for civil rights.